What happens when we are ready to get pregnant and we start trying and it's not happening right away is automatically our brains start to think, ooh, something's wrong. Or what's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? Why isn't it happening right away?
Welcome to Her Fertility, the podcast revolutionizing the way women are supported on their fertility journey. I'm your host, Jess Tims. With years of supporting women as a fertility doula, I've seen the emotional pain caused by infertility, including my own struggle with unexplained infertility. And I always knew there had to be a better way to support women with their fertility health and healing. This is the first podcast to combine the principles of spirituality and energy healing with the research-based fertility data to support you in a way you've never seen before. You can stop feeling alone, confused, frustrated, and overwhelmed, and start finding the answers you've been looking for, because this podcast goes so much deeper than anything you can search for online. If you're ready to find a new spiritual perspective for your fertility journey, then press play. We are here to reclaim control, find clarity, and transform the fertility conversation.
In this episode of the Her Fertility Podcast, I'm going to dive into the things you need if you want to get pregnant in 2025. So let's dive into it. If you're new here, I'm Jess, a certified fertility doula, and I'm so grateful that you are tuning in to the Her Fertility Podcast. And I thought it might be fun to make more of a list format of this podcast with the 5 things I would do first if I was trying to get pregnant in 2025. Because when you search online for getting pregnant information, you will get a ton of search results. And while all of them are probably well-intended, it can be hard to know what is best for your body and what to try first. So here are my top 5 recommendations based on research and also what I've seen work for clients year after year. The most important thing if you are going to get pregnant is to understand when you ovulate. Women are only fertile for about 5 days each cycle. And I don't know about you, but nobody taught me this when I was learning about the reproductive cycle. But the truth is, women's fertile window is very short, and ovulation itself only happens for about 12 to 24 hours. That's like half or a full day, and that's each cycle. You would have to wait until a whole other period and a full other cycle from the next time you ovulate. So understanding when ovulation happens is really important because it's the only time during your cycle that you can actually conceive. Outside of ovulation, outside of the fertile window, the vaginal canal is too acidic for sperm to survive. And this is the body's brilliant way of making sure she can't just get pregnant every time you have sex. It also has its functions of keeping germs and bacteria and unwanted things out. But truly, the female body is so intelligent, and it only has a short window of time that it's actually fertile. Unlike men, men are fertile every day. It is important to know that sperm takes about 64 days to mature. So the sperm you're working with today was actually made more than 2 months ago, but sperm is being generated every day for men. So they are fertile every day. Whereas women only have that fertile window is what we call it, which are the days around ovulation. Now, there are all kinds of devices you can buy, ovulation predictor kits. There's apps you can use on your phone that will help you learn when you ovulate, or you can learn how your body shows the biological markers when ovulation is happening. It's really fascinating. So whichever method works best for you, dive into learning about your ovulation. This is always the first thing I recommend with women who are trying to get pregnant. And that's why I created my Aligned Cycles course. We dive into all things ovulation for whether you are trying to get pregnant or you're trying to use hormone-free birth control. So if that sounds good for you, check out the link in the description. So now that you know when you ovulate, first most important thing, the next thing I would do if I was trying to get pregnant in 2025 is cut the crap. Now, I know that's not the nicest way to say it, and here's what I mean. If we pan out and really look at what's impacting our hormone health the most, because hormones are at the base function of our fertility. We have wonderful, beautiful symphony of hormones in our body that are doing this beautiful cycle each month without us even asking it. Truly, the female body is amazing. And it's important that we optimize that hormone health and really our whole body health to make sure all of our systems are functioning as they were designed to. Because the reality is hormones are made throughout the whole body. So while estrogen and progesterone are made down in the ovaries, luteinizing hormone and follicle stimulating hormone, which are responsible for ovulation, are made in the brain, in the pituitary gland, which is so crazy. And then you also have hormones like cortisol, adrenaline, vitamin D, which is actually a hormone, all playing into your fertility health, and they're made throughout the body. So when we talk about fertility and we talk about really optimizing your body to conceive, right? Like we want to conceive and get pregnant, then we have to take a holistic view of the body. There isn't one pill or one fertility tea or one supplement that's going to get you pregnant. It is really working at your body for the goddess that she is and treating her like that. So when I say cut the crap, what I mean is filling your beautiful body with quality nutrients. Forget about counting calories and give your body what she needs to produce beautiful hormone health and, of course, a beautiful baby. We also know that sleep has a direct impact on our hormone health. So prioritizing good quality sleep. A great way to know if you're getting good sleep or not is to ask yourself, do I wake up tired? Without caffeine or exercise, on a scale of 1 to 10, how tired am I when I wake up? And if that answer is like, I wake up pretty tired, then your body is trying to tell you that you need better sleep. So prioritizing that will help your hormone health in general. Also, cutting out alcohol and caffeine. You'll find tons of research out there online about this. They do impact our reproductive health, both alcohol and caffeine, for different reasons, which I won't dive into this podcast. That might be an interesting podcast for another time because there is some pretty cool research out there. So if you would want to know more about the ins and outs of alcohol and caffeine, send me a message and I would love to dive into that with you. But for the sake of this podcast, we're talking more do's and don'ts, really understanding that alcohol and caffeine do play a role in your overall hormone health. So commit to that as you're moving into 2025 and as you want to welcome baby into the world. The third thing I would do if I was trying to get pregnant is I would talk to my doctor. It is never too early to talk to your doctor and let them know, hey, I want to get pregnant this year. And ask them, do they have any recommendation? Ask them if they see anything in your medical history that is a red flag or that you need to address before becoming pregnant. And another great thing to do when talking to your doctor is really feel them out for whether they are the doctor you want for your full pregnancy and delivery. Because it's important to know that not all OBs or OBGYNs deliver babies. And so you want to make sure if you do love your doctor, you want to make sure that they could be your doctor for your full pregnancy and delivery, but also also ask yourself, like, is this somebody I would want to stay with for the full term of my pregnancy and delivery? And if not, then it's a great time to switch. And this is kind of a bonus one. If I was trying to get pregnant, I would also contact my HR by my employer to learn about my benefit. I would just learn what, benefits are, look at if I need to change my benefits, see if there's any pregnancy leave, maybe any fertility insurance involved, family planning insurance. Those types of things are becoming more and more available, especially in big companies and corporations. So you might want to look into that to see if any of those benefits apply to you, and then you can use them in the new year. Now, the fourth thing I would do, and I would absolutely recommend all of my clients doing when they are wanting to get pregnant, when they are ready to welcome a baby, is to talk to your partner. Now, I know this one maybe sounds silly or like, well, obviously we both want a baby and that's why I'm here. But truly, open the lines of communication with your partner. Have conversations about what it would look like to be parents, what you're excited about as parents, what pregnancy would look like, what changes would need to take place during this huge transition in your life. It is such an exciting time. Allow yourselves to dream and really find joy in sharing these ideas together. What you might also find is that there are things that come up that you hadn't considered before, or maybe you didn't know about with your partner. And this is a great time to really open those lines of communication so that as you're going through this big transition together, because this is one of the biggest transitions you will go through together as a couple, you have open communication and you're really encouraging that with your partner. Now, this looks different for every couple, and I encourage you to find the way that works best for you and that feels really organic for you. What has worked really well for me and my partner is a little game that we like to play. So I'll leave it here for you and you can play if you want. We actually play this game at random all of the time. It's a series of 3 questions, and it's tell me something I don't know about you, tell me something you like about me, and tell me something you want to do before the end of the year. Now, that last question, sometimes we change to tell me something you want to do before the end of the month or something like that. But these 3 sets of questions are really fun to answer with someone that you've known for a long time or that you know very intimately, because sometimes it feels like you know a lot about someone. So asking them, tell me something I don't know about you, can really open up a whole new world of something that you never knew about them. Or it can be something really timely, like you didn't know something happened a week. And so it's a really fun game that we like to play that has really helped open up our lines of communication. And you can create a fertility version of this and you can add in, tell me something you're excited about once we have children. So have fun with that. So if you want to get pregnant in 2025, I would highly recommend you get really familiar with when you're ovulating. Definitely take care of your beautiful body, cut out anything that's not serving you, and feed your body nutritious, wonderful, nourishing food. Definitely talk to your doctor and decide if they are the doctor for you or if you need to switch. And of course, open those lines of communication with your partner. And the last thing is arguably one of the most important things and one that we don't talk about enough. But the fifth thing I would recommend if you are welcoming baby in 2025 is to get into the mindset of welcoming and receiving. And here's what I mean. When you are welcoming in a new sweet little soul into your body and then, of course, into the world, there's a large portion energetically of that, of welcoming and receiving. And as women in our culture, we are not taught how to do this. We are givers. We give a lot, and we're naturally very good at that. We're very good in community. We can empathize with other people and we can build each other up in a beautiful way. And I welcome you to switch that perspective and start finding ways in which you can practice receiving in your own right and really having a mindset of welcoming baby in and receiving this beautiful energy into your body. What happens when we are ready to get pregnant and we start trying and it's not happening right away is automatically our brains start to think, ooh, something's wrong. Or what's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? Why isn't it happening right away? And it is so easy to cut off that energy of acceptance and welcoming when that's the energy body we need to be in to create new life. And there's so much more to this beautiful conversation. And what I hope you leave this episode with is just the simple idea that you can shift into a mindset of welcoming and receiving to welcome that sweet baby in and trust that there's nothing selfish in that and that this is your transition into motherhood, which is such a beautiful place to be in your life. And what I know about you is if you're listening to this podcast and you are ready to welcome a baby in 2025, then you are going to make the most amazing period. You're doing your research, you're learning everything you can, and that is so beautiful. And if hearing this sounds really hard and you're like, Jeff, I don't even know how to start with the mindset piece, send me a message on Instagram at fertilityjess. I would love to connect with you and give you some resources on how to make this a little bit easier. Because depending on where you're at in your journey, the mindset piece can be tricky, and I totally get that. And on a final note, if you are ready to welcome a baby in 2025, congratulations on making it to this beautiful point in your life. I am fully rooting for you. I am here to support you. Please connect with me on social media at FertilityJess, or check out my current services and offerings at fertilityjess.com. And I look forward to bringing you another episode of the Her Fertility Podcast soon.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Her Fertility Podcast. In a sea of big name podcasts, your support means the world to me. If you enjoyed the show, I would so appreciate your support by leaving a review on Spotify, Apple Podcast, or YouTube, wherever you listen, to help me reach as many women as possible. You can also share this episode with a friend. Sharing the podcast is the best way to help it grow and build a community of support around you on your fertility journey. If we aren't already connected, please find me at FertilityJess on social media, or sign up for one of my next fertility courses or offerings at fertilityjess.com.